The most important question for medical property trust is this one. Do they have problems with their tenants? If you read their annual reports or quarterly reports, you will see their total assets by operator. And you see every company that are paying rent to medical property trust. And to assess the future profitability of this company, this REIT, you have to look at their tenants. If they are reliable and if they can continue to pay the rent. If they can do that, then the stock price may rebound back to $20. And imagine, from $3, almost $4 to $20, that will be an amazing return. And besides that, you also get a dividend of about 8%. So the future profitability of this company and this dividend, quite high dividend, depend on those operators. So let's take it one by one and analyze them, if they are reliable or not. So as you probably know, Stewart, they already had a problem with this operator. They report in the reports, they had an impairment charges of over 600 million for the last quarter and more in the previous quarters, and they got rid of this tenant. So Stewart was a bad one, and that's why, this is one of the reasons why the stock price has declined so much. Now let's continue with the next operators. Circle Health. If you search about this, you will find out that this is a private healthcare provider in the United Kingdom. Now, I haven't succeeded to find its revenue and profitability because this operator is private, but I found out that it has been acquired. As you can see, in 2023, they announced a transaction that Circle Health will be acquired by Pure Health, an Abu Dhabi holding company, and the value was about 1.2 billion. And in January 2024, it has announced that the transaction had been completed. Now, you can also look at other facts, but I think that this operator is reliable. As long as they have a new acquirer, especially from Abu Dhabi, and you know that they have a lot of money to invest in the future. Plus, if you look at other websites, Circle Health Group overview, you can see that was acquired, merged. Now, on other websites, I've succeeded to find only the revenue and profits, but for the past years, back in 2016, 2015. You see that they had no profits, but this is no longer available. So what you can get, the only fact I can give you is this. They have been acquired by Abu Dhabi holding company. So far as I know about those holding companies from Abu Dhabi, they have a lot of cash to invest. And I assume that this operator is reliable, which represents 14% of their total assets. Now, let's continue to the next operator, Priory, which represents about 8.7%. So if you look at this company, Priory, again, another private company, we can see that they have sold this group, Priory, to a Dutch private equity company, Waterland, for £1 billion. Now, it's tricky because you search for a company, then you find out that the company has been sold to another company, and you have to search for that company, Waterland in this case. What do you know about Waterland? We can rely on Fitch ratings, especially that They gave this company Waterland a rating of AA+, with stable outlook, as you can see here. And based on this rating, we can say that this operator is also reliable, priori. I think this is the most reliable compared to Circle Health and others. Priori, in my view, seems the most reliable. Now, let's continue to the next one. Healthcare Systems of America, which represents 7.7%. Here, the problem is I haven't succeeded to find that much. Only that, some notes about the CEO and the chairman, and that this is more like a community operator. Again, this is a private operator, and it's hard to see their profitability. So far, they acquired 10 hospitals, they saved more jobs, and as the CEO said, it's about building communities of care. Now, I can't say too much about this operator, but I haven't found any problems so far. So again, we can assume that Healthcare Systems of America is reliable. If you know something else about it, please let us know in the comments. Now, let's go to the next one. The next operator, Prospect, which represents 6.8%. If you look at this operator, Prospect, here, is about to be acquired by another company, Astrana, plots to expand its footprint with a deal for Prospect Health businesses. If you search more, dig more, you'll find that Prospect Medical Holdings is facing financial distress at many of its locations. After the owner, Leonard Green, exited its investment. So this is quite a question mark. The owner, Leonard Green, exited its investment. And then this holding company, Prospect, went down. Is facing a lot of problems. And by the way, this was in November 8th, 2023, this announcement. Now, you can also look at Medical Property Trust, their reports the last quarter, and again, they said the same thing. They confirmed that Prospect did not pay cash rent related to 6 properties. So Prospect is indeed a huge problem for Medical Property Trust. As it represents about 7%, this might be a big problem for Medical Property Trust. And you have to be aware that they can lose this tenant. Of course, in the short term, they may have the same problem as Stewart, report a huge loss, and in the next years, they will find a replacement. But you have to be aware that Prospect is a problem. Now, the next one, LifePoint Behavioral, which represents about 5.4%. Again, you search about this company and you can find some information. Not that helpful, but it's a good start. As you can see, LifePoint announced intention to build new hospitals in Indiana. As long as they are building something, that means they have money. And also, if you look at S&P Global, another rating company, you can see that the outlook for LifePoint has been revised to stable, from negative to stable, on steadily improving performance, which makes me think that LifePoint is a reliable tenant so far. If you know something more, please let me know in the comments. We learn together. So let's go back to those operators. Reliable, Prospect, huge problem. Healthcare systems of America reliable, Priory the best one from all of them, and Circle Health also reliable. Of course, there are other operators which represents about 46%, but I don't have the data, their names, to search for them and see each of them, whether they are facing problems or not. So, going forward, be aware that medical property trust may face problems with this tenant prospect, which represents close to 7% of their total assets. That may be again a problem, because if they lose that tenant, again, they report a loss, revenue goes down, and also the earnings, and this dividend may be reduced. But as long as this tenant is in the news, is a known problem, everybody knows that, I think that risk is reflected in the stock price. Of course, if they announce that they lost this tenant prospect, for sure the stock price will decline even more. So you have to be aware of this risk. So that's it for this video. And if you have other information about those tenants, please let us know in the comments.